Hi. First off, please consider these pre-registration tips to ensure a smooth registration process. And once you're ready to go and these are all completed, you'll be ready to register. Here are our live registration options. They're just different ways to register as you go through the process. My favorite is number one. It probably makes for the easiest registration, especially when you're registering for multiple sections of one specific activity or multiple activities, multiple sections of those. These will all be portrayed in the video preceding this message. Hello, this video is for some tips and tricks and best case registration scenarios on the Park District of Oak Park website. Camp registration is one of the busiest days that we have of the year, and there's anxiety with uh, many of the residents as they process through and register their child or children into summer camps and try to coordinate that and get that done. Um, right as camps registration opens up.
Although we use camps as an example in this video, this information can be helpful for all registrations.
It a couple things you might want to keep in mind prior to registering. If you had a child that hadn't registered for any programs yet with the park district, but you've registered your, say, your eldest child, make sure you call us prior to camp registration to make sure you get that family member, that child added to your household so you don't encounter that issue on the day of registration. Another issue that people do have at times is if their child tested in early to a specific grade, they might come into a roadblock if they're entering into kindergarten and their birthday is after the cutoff date for the district. Say it's September 14th and the cutoff was the 1st, you also possibly encounter an issue with registering because the majority of children are at a specific age by 9/1. So in that case, you may have to come in person to one of our registration offices to get registered for that specific child. So we have registration set up right now, and I'll show you how I feel is probably the easiest way to do it. This is our landing page. You'll want to make sure you log in. And I'm going to go to activity search. And if I'll likely have all of my codes uh, on a separate piece of paper that I wanted to register for. So you'll want to have that ready to go as soon as you're ready to register. If you're ready to go, you're logged in. This is Camp Spark is the first class program I want to register for. You'll see that it says unavailable, but as soon as the time hits um, the specified registration date and time, these unavailables will be able to switch to available. It should automatically happen. However, if you're on a page, you'll just need to refresh that page in your browser. Let's see what happens when I do that. In there, most of which are different numbers. You can do this for each one instead of scrolling through like all the camp options. As long as you're prepared and have those numbers, it's probably the fastest way. However, if you're trying to register for, let's say, like 3 or 4 weeks of the same camp, this is the multi-select. So this is something that not all people know about. So say I want week 1 and week 3, and you'll see as I click on those, it adds them to the bottom of this section here. And let's say I want week 5 and 7. So 4 weeks and get them all done kind of in one shot instead of doing it one at a time, going through the add to the cart process, and then coming back and doing another one. So at this point, I can add these to the cart, but let's say there is another another camp that I wanted to register for, and I don't want to go through the add to cart process right now. I can go up here and reset the search, put in my camp number for skate and swim, and say I wanted this one for week 2 and week 4. So now all of these classes are all listed down here, and now let's say I'm ready to go, and I'll hit add to cart. It's going to take you to a screen where it's going to list any of the eligible children in your household. In this case, both of these children are eligible for both camps, and I'm just going to check off the ones. And if one of the 7-year-old you weren't planning on putting into one of them, just don't check the box. You hit continue and follow along on these, and you have to agree to the terms. Continue. At this point, once you go through these, we'll do this for every class, so it's kind of, it'll just take a little bit of time. And you can see up here like who you're enrolling into this program. Alright, so now once they're in your shopping cart, you are locked into those programs, meaning you don't have to worry about someone sneaking in and taking a class, a camp away. You can check out now and complete the process, or if there was other camps you wanted to go back and register for, you can go back and do that now by going back up to your search and activity search. But as long as you don't log out, or as long as your session doesn't time out, which I believe it's about 15 minutes of inactivity, you'll be okay. You can feel safe that these programs are in your cart, and they can't be taken away from you unless unless there's inactivity, or you log out, or say your system crashes, or something along that nature. So you can proceed to checkout. And here you see that we have a camp payment plan, so the minimum amount due, just $25 per camp, comes to $300, so you can pay that portion, or you can pay the whole amount, and you'll just go through this process. It will take you to a credit card screen, and you'll complete that, and then once that process goes through, you'll be taken to a receipt screen. So as long as you get to your receipt screen, you've completed the process at that point, and an email is sent with a receipt to your email address. Let me go over a couple other options for you if you have programs that you want to prepare for and they're kind of all over the board. As far as activity codes, it could be the best way for that could be using our wish list process. Here I'm just gonna empty the cart right now. So ahead of time of registration, you can use our wish list option, which just means that you've kind of decided what you're going to register for. You've gone to that code, and then if it's the week 1 of Camp Spark, let's say, you hit this little wish list icon, and it will, if it's colored in, that means it's part of your wish list. So if I go back up to, if you go up to your wish list here towards the top, this will list all of the activities that you have interest in that you have selected the wish list. Once you register for these programs, it still stays here in the wish list. It doesn't go away. So just keep that in mind. No worries if you registered for something, came back here, and then now you think that maybe you didn't register for it. It's just a wish list of things that you were interested in. But if I do want to register from this screen, you can, but you can only do one at a time. So that's why the multi-select, if you're registering for multiple weeks of a specific camp, it comes in a lot more handy than coming to the wish list and doing one at a time. But once you click on it, it would be the same process. You agree to the waivers, and then once it's in your cart, you can jump back to your wish list and then go to the second program, and then third, and then fourth, and fifth, and however many you're running to register for. So this has all 3 camps here, and you can process and complete your registration and be complete. So those are probably the two out of the 3 registration processes. The third one, if you choose to do so, is an activity quick enrollment. So I can type in the code here and the section and hit add to cart. It's practically a wish list option, but it jumps right into it, and you can, in the same fashion, and you can go through the process. So in the end, I would say anytime you're looking to register, especially on the first registration day, even though probably about 90% of camps don't fill on the first day, or even 95%, if there are certain ones that you're worried about filling, that are get a lot of attention, definitely get those added into your cart first, and then go back for other camps that maybe don't fill quite as fast. That's probably one of the best ways to curb your anxiety when going and registering for summer camps, when you have a lot of camps to go ahead and to try to lock in for the summer. So if you have any questions, please give customer service a call at 708-725-2000, and get those questions answered prior to registration starting. It'll definitely make things easier, and you can certainly always register in person if you don't want to register online. So that's probably about it. So